People, Deluded, I'm back again. Good morning on this Monday, and I hope you're all doing well and safe and ready to attack the week. I hope you all, move closer to your goals, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever your ambitions are. We might as well speak in relation to some transfer news. Now, the big one is Torreira. I don't want to keep speaking about Arawa and Torreira and Partey. It's the same old, same old, same old. Until somebody leaves their club or some significant advancement, I want to stop speaking about them. But I'm sure you've seen in the last 24 hours from various stations and various reports in countries, Torreira is edging closer to a move to join Diego Simeone at Atletico. To start the weekend, you saw he's a player Simeone appreciates and he wants him to join the club. And you could see why, he fits into that system and that style of play. I think he would benefit. I think away from that, I think he would resonate, Argentine and Uruguayan, South American passion, they're very alike. And I feel you see a lot of that spirit with Simeone. He'll thrive. The way of life in Spain and Italy is more aligned to how it is in England. So there's also that. There's also more chance of playing more football. It doesn't seem that Arteta wants him. So as much as I'm actually going to be peed off that Torreira is leaving. I'm going to be livid. I can't lie. The world keeps spinning. But I really love Torreira as a footballer. If it was me, he'd be central to our plans. Arteta knows more than me. I hope the club have a plan. Now, you've seen apparently it's a loan with an option to buy. You have seen Arsenal have quashed that sort of thing. They're not on it. The key thing, apparently, many people will say, why don't you swap the two? And there's been reports saying swap Partey for Torreira, people. But equally, apparently, it's two different deals. Apparently, Arsenal do not want to play the release clause for Partey. Apparently, both teams will try and discuss potentially again Partey and Torreira, as much as it's two separate operations. And apparently, Torreira, crucially, more than a replacement for Partey, he's viewed as a replacement for Hector Herrera. And apparently Arsenal and Atletico have a perfect relationship as clubs, both before and after the arrivals of new sports management. The leaders have spoken and Arsenal are not going to pay Thomas Partey's release clause, and we can't pay it up front. So I think it's stupid, If you're going to bring in Partey, then you can't sell Torreira. There's no player that can put a foot in like that. Yes, you could have El Nene and things like that. You're better off selling Torreira somewhere differently and getting the money. If we can't entertain swapping these players it's just simply swapping them. I think, Atletico would hoodwink you if they say, you know what, you're not getting Partey, but we're taking Torreira off you. And now we've got two options. We keep our man who we can make sign a new deal, and then what? If we do a loan with an obligation to buy for a decent fee, it's not the end of the world. But didn't we hear Atletico have no money and all of these sort of things? So it surely is better that we work out some sort of swap deal rather than two separate entities in themselves. Apparently conversations are still going on despite Arsenal rejecting this, and the priority is focused on striking a deal for Lucas Torreira. We'll have to see. In different regards, people, apparently Sheffield United and Arsenal have made progressive talks over Balogun. For me, I think Balogun's got all the potential in the world. I think Balogun's going to be a baller. I'm going to be pissed off to lose him. Hopefully he signs a new deal. But at the end of the day, I'm tired of these shenanigans. If he wants to leave, let him leave. If I was him, I'd leave. Is there necessarily a pathway for you? You haven't trained with the first team. You're stuck with the 23s. Eddie's come off the bench and scored. You've got Lacazette. Will he, won't he with the new deal? Yes, Aubameyang's a striker, but you've got Aubameyang out there. Tyrese John Jules is probably ahead of you in the pecking order. I would leave if I was Balogun. No matter what Arsenal would tell me, I would leave. I would go to a club where if I'm not going to play straight away, there's less strikers on the books. There's more of a pathway. If they say I'm not going to be straight away thrown into the first team, I might have to bide my time, provided there's a pathway and there's a plan. If it's a thing where I'm training with the first team, playing for the 23s, that's better than what he's doing right now. I think he should leave. I want him to stay from a selfish point of view, but if I'm his advisors, unless Arsenal are telling me there's a specific plan for him, I'm not committing a new deal. I'm keeping it moving. That being said, I'm tired of the shenanigans he does on Instagram and Twitter and stuff. It just screams a bit insecure. I've got a lot of time for Balogun, but it just screams attention seeking. When you're doing things like Aubameyang's done the contract thing, the hourglass, and you're doing the same. This screams someone that really wants the attention, that really wants the fans to be up his arse and saying, don't leave, don't leave. Of course, it's probably his agents and him being a bit quiet and stuff, and he is, I've got to discount him, he is 19. But if he wants to leave, let the lad leave. Just make sure you get a figure for him. It's a mockery that you've let someone who's been a gunman in front of goal and has made a career of scoring goals, his deal run down like this. apparently Sheffield have made progressive talks. I know a lot of people are saying on Twitter that he signed a new deal and he's going out on loan. I hope that's the case, but where have we seen this? For me, he's going to leave permanently, and if he does, it is what it is. Players that don't want to be here, keep it moving. You know, players that's contracts are up, keep it moving. I'm tired of the shenanigans with people's contracts. Balogun's got all the potential in the world, but we can't keep having this people's deals running down season in, season out, whether they're young, promising players or whatever. So as much as I want him to stay, I just want to see us come to peace with it, man. In my head, he's gone. It is what it is. It's not necessarily the end of the world. Moving away from that though, people, and apparently a side topic, Arsenal have agreed a deal with PSG for their for a medical member. Apparently we've confirmed the signing of Brazilian medic Bruno Mazzotti, who, you know, a few months ago he was allegedly coming to the team. Apparently he has a close relationship with Arsenal's technical director Edu after working with him at Corinthians and Brazil, and I think this is someone who they've also said is a good manager and also knows martial arts. Apparently he will join once the terms of his exit from the PSG contract have been finalised. He arrives at Arsenal after head of physiotherapy Chris Morgan moved to Liverpool. It is not clear what job title Mazzotti is to take, but he'll work alongside head of medical Gary O'Driscoll. And this is an article, this is a piece out of The Athletic. Now, I've said in a stream I've wanted Lamperty, you lot have as well. You know, apparently a key segment out of The Athletic, Chelsea had intended to send him out on loan to further his development, but Lamperty did not agree with that plan and felt his pathway to the first team was unclear. And despite interest from the likes of Arsenal, Wolves, Leeds and Rangers, as well as from overseas at Club Lille, Lamperty decided to join Brighton. And he won't be at Brighton long. You know, Brighton are going to make some peas. Him and Ben White, if they develop, they're going to make peas. We probably won't be the ones buying Lamperty because he'll be about 50 million or so from Brighton, but you know, he could be of interest to European clubs. You're hearing Barca and Bayern Munich are fighting it out for Max Aarons and Sergio Dest. You know, one of the big boys, Chelsea might even buy him back, or United might go for him, or even Arsenal. I think Lamperty made the right decision in leaving, and I would have loved him at this club, you know, because I'm not too sure for Cedric Suarez. Bellerin, 1 minute he's staying, then he's not. Maitland-Niles is the right back for me, but is he going to play there? We have to see. So away from all of that and getting back to transfer news, people, apparently according to the Sunday Mirror, Newcastle only want to take Arsenal defender Callum Chambers on loan, despite the fact his asking price is 12 million. Now we need to probably get him permanently off the wage bill, but maybe going to Newcastle could put him in the shop window because, forgive me if I'm wrong, after this season he'd be contracted until 2022. Could it be a thing where he plays well for Newcastle, he bosses it, then they might say, alright, cool, you've got a year left, we'll give you your 12 million. I think we should be looking to make 16 because that's what we made on him anyways, you know. I actually like Chambers, man. I understand him moving, but I think he could do alright in the squad, but there's no way of lying. We've got too many centre-halves on our books, so Chambers probably needs to leave in some capacity. Socrates probably will leave as well. And keeping up the theme with centre-halves, people, apparently Socrates' teammate, Mustafi, has been offered to Lazio and Napoli, and apparently it's gaining momentum. Arsenal have put a £13.4 million release clause and are prepared to drop it to 11. That's what the Daily Mirror also said. And again, I'm not too sure on that. The man's injured. We know he's got a couple of months, if that, to run on his deal or before he can talk to clubs for free. I would move Mustafi on. You know, if you can get a decent fee for Mustafi and Chambers and reinvest it elsewhere, you'd be a fool not to do that. You know, we need to get people off the wage books. We have got some money coming in for a former player, though. As you lot have seen, congratulations to Chubarak Pom. He's joined Middlesbrough. Apparently, we've received 1.1 million thanks to that deal. So every little helps. You know, you've got 1.1 million off this. You made 3 million off Greenwood. Probably make a similar fee off Balogun, even though it should be way more than that. These little fees are raising funds for people. We'll make a couple of thousand off Ben Shafe when he commits his permanent deal to Coventry. So we'll have to see what happens, people. We really, really will have to see what happens, man. There's a lot of movement, but there is no movement at the same time. It's the same old recycled rumours. Finally, though, and it's not really anything, but, you know, Lacazette reached 50 goals. You know, some people say that's a milestone. It is a milestone. The devil's advocate will say maybe him taking that long to reach that for Arsenal kind of highlights the problem for Lacazette and maybe why he shouldn't get a new deal or why there's hesitancy. Because, you know, Lacazette, work rate, track, you know, it's true what Arteta said. He makes other people play better. His link-up play, the way he brings people in, the way how selfless he is, his runs, it opens up gaps. So he's got that. obviously he's a good player, you know. Technically, he makes other people play better. He does score a respectable amount of goals. In a day and age where you could say many teams are struggling to have okay plan B strikers or squad striker options, he's a benefit. But again, for all the work rate and all of these things, goals are what you're going to live and die by, really and truly. You can only rely on the other things. And like I said, I think it's fantastic he's reached 50 goals. But people might say, you know, why has it only took him that? Why has it taken him so long to reach 50 goals for Arsenal? We've got Aubameyang on 72. And I personally think the lack of movement, or at least the fans, over a new deal for Lacazette is telling. I think the club are hesitant. I think there's people in the club that can see Lacazette's strengths, like all of us, you know, work rate, just having another striker in the side, big games, you know, to be fair, a lot of what Lacazette does is underestimated, but at the same time, you know, and people say you need that. But at the same time, many people, on the other hand, and many people who agree with that will say, you know what, he does score okay goals, even though he should score more. He is a good team player. But can you know, on one hand, a striker that's playing for a top team or in the Premier League, there should be work rate. They should have link-up play. They should be able to bring people in. You know, is that anything special? Is it necessarily worth the finances? Now, Lacazette allegedly wants to stay. I want him to stay. But I can understand why the club are hesitant because of what I've just said, and because I just don't think Lacazette's deal's a priority. I'm not gonna lie, he's a key player. I love him, I want him to, but I feel in the grand scheme of things, when we need to side centre halves, when we need to move people on, when, you know, I know the deals are done, but Saka and Aubameyang were priorities, you know, and stuff like that. Lacazette's deal isn't a priority, you know. We need to get it sorted. We need some clarity over his future, whether he's going to stay or not. But I'd say with all of these other things, whether you're trying to bring in Partey and Aouar and move people on, and obviously just getting Aubameyang's deal over the line, it's not been a priority. And maybe Aubameyang takes offence with, Lacazette takes offence with that, but he can't really complain. I think that's well, it is, people, you know. I think the no noise is settling, and Arteta said, at the moment, we haven't started any contract negotiations. We have a lot of things still to do in this market. He's a player I'm really happy with. I think we showed a lot of faith since I arrived here, but we cannot stop any speculation. And, you know, as long as his deal's not signed, there's going to be speculation over his future. And I think that tells you everything. Because if this was Aubameyang's deal, you think Arteta's coming out and saying, unless he's trying to play coy and not look desperate, we've got other things to do in the market. We haven't spoken to Aubameyang. Why we're trying to get Partey and Aouar, and we've got Willian, and we've spoken about Zaha at one point, and Gabriel's come to the club, and there's still people to move on, and, you know, there's the Guendouzi's, the Torreiras, the Ozils. We've still found time, regardless of if it was just whenever it was agreed, you know, we've still managed to sign Aubameyang still. I don't think he's coming out and saying this about Aubameyang. So I think the devil is in the details. I do think there's many people that are like myself that recognises the strengths and the qualities and don't ever for a second want to underestimate what Lacazette brings to the table. But on the other hand, as much as I rate them, are they necessarily outstanding qualities, or are they qualities you can get in another person, or are these basic things you expect of a person, of a man that's playing for Arsenal? You expect work rate from a striker, you expect link-up play, you expect technical ability. You know, you expect that. I'm not trying to downplay Lacazette. I just get the reason for the hesitance. If some people in the boardroom, like the fans, are hesitant to give him that new deal, and some people want this sorted. At the end of the day, if Lacazette just keeps scoring, you know, 2 goals in 2 in his last recent games, carrying on off the back of last season, it is what it is. For me, it's not necessarily about goals, because he didn't bag against Man City, but he was instrumental in that game. So I do think if you are going to get rid of Lacazette, you do need a plan B striker. You look at Chelsea, you know, Werner needs his time to adapt, but, you know, there's going to be times Werner's doing his thing, but you're going to need to put Tammy. Last season, Tammy at times weren't doing it, so you threw Giroud in there, and Giroud got a little purple patch. Do you get it? You know, Spurs have signed Bale. They're still looking for that striker. They've been linked with a striker every window. You know, United, they got rid of Lukaku, and arguably, you know, for as good as Greenwood and Mount Greenwood and Martial and Rashford were, they needed a striker that had a bit more different qualities. That's why Ighalo is still there. Do you get it, people? This is why, and there's many other examples. This is why I don't mind keeping Lacazette, because I think if you sell him, you've got to bring someone in. Big up Eddie for scoring, but is Eddie going to prove that he can do Lacazette's job for him to that level? He's proved it because he kept him out of the team last season, but consistently, time will tell. And if you're a betting man, listen, I'm not going to tell you how to bet, but I do think if Lacazette leaves, we bring in a striker. We should. If that could be done in this window is another thing. I don't think Lacazette's leaving in this window, but I'm not no fan to be saying, I'm not no boardroom member to be saying I don't think this and that. I don't know, truthfully. We'll have to see what happens, but I've got nothing more to add, man, so I'm going to keep it moving. It's always a pleasure speaking to you guys, man. Deluded, I'm out. Please comment, like, and subscribe. I'm out.